your new year is your opportunity to have transformation and change and joy in your life and to expand and live your soul purpose. But what happens to everybody's intentions during the year? Lowry, you know all about this.
I certainly do. Yeah, we start off strong and then we kind of forget half the time. It's not even that you spiral down into despair. Sometimes it's just that you sort of like, oh yeah, that's right. That's what I said I wanted. I forgot. I used to do that with my power song. I'd sing it. It's like, oh yeah, that's what I said I wanted. So, but
So yeah, go
but
ahead.
I'm really interested in strategies to interrupt negative thinking, and especially like catastrophizing and worry and self-doubt and all those things that prevent us from showing up fully and sort of losing sight of our goals and our dreams and not believing them, or that kind of thing, all that stuff, which really just kind of makes you kind of show up small, right?
Yeah,
Instead of this is how we want to come into the world and see possibilities, right?
yeah,
So I mean, gratitude's a great tool for that, because you sort of it's like, wow, this actually I've got this going and this is going and there's food in the fridge and I'm breathing and I can still sing, all those kinds of things. Yes, I have a bad cold, but right. But what
exactly.
happened, that whole loss of perspective that kind of just spirals us down into giving up on stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And just self-belief as well. It's great to talk about our goals, but we
Mhm.
don't achieve anything if we don't believe in ourselves, if we're not feeling confident in ourselves. And one great thing about singing and music is it brings all of your energy into your body
Yeah.
in a powerful way that actually you stand up a little straighter when you sing. And that is like feedback for your brain that you are powerful and that you can do more than you realize.
Yeah, yeah, and it calms you down. It makes you feel better. You just, I mean, it's just a better version of yourself, period, right?
Yeah.
People always, I'm always surprised. A lot of times when I've done songwriting workshops with groups, um, often I get hired as like a team building thing, and people will come in and they'll be very grumpy, and they'll say, why are we doing this? I don't know how to write a song. This is silly. This is, and but once they start, so I'll get them to sing like a tiny amount. We'll come up with a title, and I'll say, okay, well, how should we sing the title? It'll be, have a nice day, and they'll, can you sing that? And they'll go, they'll sing that much, or should it be have a nice day? And they'll sing that, and then they kind of start. There's this change that occurs in your brain chemistry, and people when they're singing together. Oxytocin, all that stuff that happens. And I'm sure as a intuitive voice coach, that's really what you are trying to get people to, one of the benefits, the health benefits and mindset benefits of singing. Hey.
Our body is our tool. The voice isn't just your throat, it's your whole self. And
Right.
our brain operates differently, even when we sing. Both sides of hemispheres of the brain start working together, which makes you a better problem solver. So if you're singing about, being able to solve problems and being able to achieve things. I mean, one of my favorite things, Larry, was when you shared your power song. I always remember your power song, only the first two lines. I got a home on the water and someone to love. And that's all
Yeah.
I remember. But it's so specific, because at the time you did not have a home on the water. At the
Yeah.
time, you
Yeah.
had a recent breakup and you didn't
Yeah.
believe in yourself and you didn't believe in the power of, what was
Exactly.
possible in the future.
Yeah. It was
You're a living
ludicrous.
example of this
Yeah.
working.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you know what I like in your power song is the line that standing on the highest mountain, or however that goes,
Yeah.
with you. Like the melodies have this ability to transform your state, right? To lift you. So like a melody like somewhere over somewhere, you kind of go from, if it was somewhere over the rainbow, it'd be kind of, you'd stay in depression, but somewhere it's really, these are the things that shift us,
The
and it's
tone is
like,
expansive, it's
yeah,
lifting. Yeah.
yeah. And so when you have that in your own song and you have that, that vision for that, um, but I know when I've got a little, vocal warm up that I do that's like 10 minutes long, and all it is just kind of, getting parts of the voice warmed up, but it's like I'm a different person 10 minutes after that thing,
Yeah.
and I didn't even sing a word. So, it's the voice has this power, and people think they need to be able to sing. They have to sing in tune, or they have to have a nice voice or something you don't have to. I mean, I think half of my power song clients can't sing in tune.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, but it's
Yeah.
not perfectly in tune. I mean, I have
No,
some
but
people that literally
it's
can't tell the difference between pitches, and they still sing their song, and it makes no difference.
yeah. I mean, a lot of people who don't really sing can sing certain melodies. Like
Yeah,
if a song's very familiar, they'll be able to sing it. And it's about launching yourself in for your own enjoyment and for, empowering yourself. It's not, nobody's grading you on a scale of 1 to 10. And that's one of the things that I dislike about a lot of music teaching is it is a little bit elitist, like you're trying to get, an honor or distinction in your grade or something.
yeah,
And to me, it's more about access. I want everybody to be able to access their voice. So we're going to be working together for our workshop on the 1st of January, and we're going to be learning how to access your voice, but we're also going to be workshopping individual affirmations or phrases for
yeah,
each person who comes. So
yeah,
tell us about that process, because this is very similar to writing a whole power song, but we're just doing a mini version of it for this workshop. Tell us how
yeah.
you do that.
Well, I think what we're going to do is ask people we'll give them a little questionnaire with, just to help get them started on thinking about getting clear on what it is that they want more of in their life, and maybe we'll get them to come up with, or we'll help them put that into a really simple kind of songwriting kind of language. We're not writing mission statements here. We
No.
want we want to use language that is strong and simple and direct and action oriented and visual, and so I'll help people create little melodies for that would where the melody is part of the journey that lifts you emotionally and helps add impact to that. And it's very um, simple process that I take people through to do that. It's a very natural thing, and people will be surprised. It's like, oh, I guess I do know something about music.
Yes. And,
Right.
even that kind of gaining a little bit of a rhythmic quality into what you're saying. So
Yeah.
you might have this very long intention, in 2024, I'd like to see, da 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 da. But when you put it in, like, I've got a home and a water and someone to love,
Yeah.
and I've got this, and I've got, it's simplifying, like you
Yeah.
said, and it's making it rhythmic. And that makes it more memorable, right?
It's yes, more ways and more visual, right?
Yeah.
A house on the water. Okay, well that's clear. Someone to love, that's clear. It's like it also, I think, what I've found with people writing power songs is that they kind of like it brought up like, who am I to have a house on the water? Who am I to have someone to love? My life is a mess. That kind of stuff. And it's kind of a lot of these things, asking for things, made people uncomfortable. And but this is like, if you were going to say, what do you want? It's like, well, this is what I want.
Yeah.
If I could have what I wanted, if I would tell myself the truth, give myself permission to even ask for it, to declare it. It's a really powerful shift when people start saying, I remember when I was way back, a friend of mine was into goal setting and stuff, and I'd been playing music for a long time, and I was like 28, and he sat me down. He says, "Well, what do you want to do with your life?" And I didn't, he said, "There's one thing you can do. What would you want to do?" And I didn't want to answer because I, if I admitted it to him, I admitted it to myself, and I said, well, finally, he just kind of beat me into it. I said, well, I want to release an album. I want to be a songwriter, a touring musician. That's what I want to do. Already been doing it, but I never really put it in words. And then instead of being like my dad at 15 who said, well, that's not much of a way to make a living, my friend said, well, what would it take to make that happen?
Mm.
And then you start thinking about, well, I guess I'd have to write a song, I guess I'd have to record something. You know what I mean? Like you start
Your
thinking
stepping
about,
stones start to
yeah, you
become
start to
clearer.
think about, well, what are the action steps? Okay.
Yeah.
You want You know what I mean? How could that
Well,
be
it was the
possible?
same for me. I was about 28 when someone said to me, "This is interesting that the timeline is
Yeah.
similar." I had a friend of a friend say, "What's your dream, Aideen?" And I said, "I want to be a singer, but I can't do that." And it's taken me such a long time. And,
Yeah.
now my life revolves around voice and music. And I still have to release my first album. I've released a few really great songs that I'm very proud of. But so there's more ahead. But the key is doing it on your own is like giving it 30% or 25%. When
Yeah.
someone else, you tell them out loud, when you start thinking about it, when you start refining that idea, then you start putting it to music, then you start adding other things that make it powerful, whether it's
Yeah.
a smell or something like that, and then you start to supercharge that hope that you have, because it's like this deep desire, this deep hope that we really would love, but we are afraid to want it because we
Yeah.
feel unworthy in some way.
Absolutely. Or skeptical. I mean, maybe unworthy is underneath all that, the skeptic, the believing that you could have it. I always think, I mean, and I think there's ways, we're smart people and we find very good ways to kind of sabotage our own stuff, all the reasons that couldn't happen and all that. But, it's interesting in the songwriting process. It's really writing a song is just making decisions. It's like, okay, I want this word. You can't have both words. And so for me, I'm always kind of as the co-writer with people. What I'm trying to get them to choose words and is, well, you climbing, standing on the highest mountain, or is it the highest skyscraper, or is it, what do you want to be standing on? How do you do, do you want to be
Yeah.
riding on it? Like, I mean, all these things. I say, no, I want this. It's like, I want this. No, I wouldn't want that. Like the other day, I was talking to, yesterday, I was talking to a client and I said, for his song brand, for his, his speaking thing. And I said, well, he said, oh, I don't know anything about music. I'm not, I don't know anything about music. I said, well, how would you hear your song? Would it be like, when you walk on stage, would it be like a pop song or a country song? He says, oh, not country, not country. It's like, okay, well, that's what I would call clarity.
Yes.
Right? I mean, you're very clear. That's not me. That's not what I want. And I get that all the time when I'm writing with people. It's like, no, I don't want that word. I thought you didn't know anything about songwriting. Yeah, apparently you do. Right?
Yeah, because we all
Yeah.
we when we're being honest with ourselves and when we're tuned into our authentic self,
Yeah.
there is a realness there and there is a trueness to ourselves that we deeply understand. And we
Yeah.
know, like, say, there's
Yeah.
this idea of inclusive versus exclusive. And people think being exclusive is the key to, being good in business and making it high end. And one of my favorite words is inclusive. So I can't use the word exclusive in any of my branding because it's not me. But I know that's not me because I deep down, I do know myself. So what we're going to be doing in this workshop is we're going to be helping each person who joins us to clarify what it is they deeply feel that they feel about themselves, that they feel is their potential, that they feel how they want to feel, what they want to do with their life. We're going to be working on it energetically as well, because I work on things energetically. If there's a block there, then we will tease that out in small group if we need to. And then we're going to have something to take away at the end of that workshop. It's going to be completely interactive, so much fun, both me and Lowry in the room with you guys, whoever's able to make it. And I'm really, really, really happy we're doing this, because I know we'll have people joining from your crew of people who've had a power song before, but they don't have an individual one for 2024 yet. So they're going to get like an extra
That's
bonus.
right. An update. Yeah. Yeah. It's nice. I mean, I like writing. I have my own power song, but sometimes I just write a new one, for the certain situation that I'm in. And this is on January 1st as well, which is it's New Year's Day, 10 in the morning Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern. So it's a nice way to start the year, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're coming in here with music. We're coming out singing this year.